You ran into your neighbor this morning. You've lived next to this person for 6 years. You wave, you smile, and then you open your mouth to introduce them to your friend standing right next to you, and their name is completely gone. Not on the tip of your tongue. Just gone. Like it was never there. If that has happened to you, and statistically speaking, if you're watching this, it has, I need you to stay with me for the next 15 minutes, because what I'm about to tell you changed the way I think about brain health entirely.
In this video, we're going to do 3 things. First, I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your brain when you forget a name, and it is not what most people think. Second, I'm going to walk you through the research, real peer-reviewed science from Harvard, Mayo Clinic, and the University of California, on what's actually accelerating your memory decline. And third, I'm going to give you a practical, evidence-based plan to reverse it. And I'm going to do all of that through the story of a man named Mark, a 52-year-old high school football coach from Ohio, who 3 years ago was starting to wonder if he was developing early Alzheimer's. He wasn't. But what was happening to him was serious and reversible. Mark's story starts right after this. Part 1. What happens in your brain when you forget? Let's start with the biology, because once you understand what's happening, everything else makes sense. Deep inside your brain, about 2 inches in from your ear on each side, sits a seahorse-shaped structure called the hippocampus. It's your brain's memory filing system. Every name, every face, every experience you want to retain gets routed through the hippocampus before it gets stored long-term in your cortex. Here's the part nobody tells you. According to research published in the journal Neurology, the human hippocampus begins to shrink at a rate of 0.5 to 1% per year, starting around age 40. By the time most people are in their mid-50s, they've lost up to 10% of their hippocampal volume. That loss directly impairs what neuroscientists call encoding, the brain's ability to convert short-term experiences into long-term memories. When encoding weakens, names become the first casualty. Why? Because names are what scientists call arbitrary labels. Your brain hasn't attached an emotion, a smell, a visual story, or a personal significance to the word David or Karen, so it doesn't flag it as important enough to consolidate. Now here's the critical thing, and I want you to hear this clearly. This shrinkage is not inevitable, and it is not a one-way street. The groundbreaking science of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to physically reorganize and regrow neural connections, has completely changed what we know about memory decline. A landmark 2019 study from the Buck Institute for Research on Aging found that participants who followed a targeted lifestyle protocol reversed measurable cognitive decline in 9 out of 10 cases. Not slowed it, reversed it. Your brain can grow back. But first, you need to stop doing the things that are shrinking it. Which brings me to Mark. Mark's journey, part 1. Mark is 52 years old, married with 2 teenage kids, and has coached high school football in Columbus, Ohio for 18 years. He's sharp, organized, disciplined, the kind of guy who runs practices with military precision. But starting about 3 years ago, Mark noticed something unsettling. He'd be standing on the sideline calling out plays he'd run 1,000 times, and a player's name would just disappear. He'd walk into the gym and completely forget why he went in. His wife started finishing his sentences for him, and he started to wonder if something was seriously wrong. I genuinely thought I was heading toward Alzheimer's, he told me. I'm watching my dad go through it right now, and I thought, this is how it starts. When Mark came in for evaluation, his cognitive screening scores were in the lower range for his age group. Not alarming, but concerning. We ran labs, reviewed his lifestyle, his sleep, his diet, and his stress levels. What we found was not a disease. What we found were 3 lifestyle patterns that were systematically dismantling his memory. The same 3 patterns that research shows are affecting tens of millions of Americans right now. Let's go through them one by one. Habit. #1, destroying your memory. Chronic low-grade sleep deprivation. Mark was sleeping an average of 5.5 hours a night. He thought that was fine. He'd been doing it for years. He was functional. He wasn't falling asleep at his desk. But here's what was happening inside his brain every single night. During deep sleep, specifically stage 3 and REM sleep, your brain runs what neuroscientists call the glymphatic system. Think of it as your brain's overnight cleaning crew. Cerebrospinal fluid literally flushes through the brain, clearing out metabolic waste products, including beta-amyloid plaques, the same proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. A 2023 study from the National Institutes of Health found that just one night of poor sleep increased beta-amyloid accumulation in the brain by up to 5%. After years of chronic 5-hour nights, the build-up is significant. But the memory damage from poor sleep goes even further. A study from the University of California, Berkeley found that during sleep, your hippocampus replays the day's memories and transfers them to the cortex for long-term storage. When you cut sleep short, that replay gets interrupted. Those memories never fully consolidate. They're encoded weakly, which is exactly why you walk into a room and forget why you're there. The name you heard at the party never made it to long-term storage because your hippocampus never got the chance to file it. The fix, 7 to 9 hours. Not negotiable. Every hour below 7 is measurably damaging your memory consolidation. We'll come back to implementation strategies in a moment. Habit tag 2, destroying your memory. Chronic stress without recovery. Mark was also running at high stress, constantly. Football season stress bled into off-season recruiting stress, which bled into family financial stress. He was never in a fully relaxed state. Ever. Here's the neuroscience of why that's catastrophic for memory. When you're stressed, your adrenal glands pump out a hormone called cortisol. Short-term cortisol is fine, it sharpens focus in genuine emergencies. But chronic cortisol elevation is one of the most well-documented causes of hippocampal damage in the scientific literature. A landmark study from Stanford University found that sustained elevated cortisol physically kills neurons in the hippocampus, specifically the CA3 region responsible for pattern completion, which is exactly the function you use when you try to pull up someone's name from a stored face. Robert Sapolsky, a neuroendocrinologist at Stanford and author of Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, has spent decades documenting this pathway. His research shows that unlike zebras, who experience acute stress and then fully recover, humans live in a state of chronic low-grade stress that never turns off, and the hippocampus pays the price. In Mark's case, his cortisol levels measured in the upper range of normal, not clinically high, but consistently elevated. His brain was marinating in a mild cortisol bath, day after day, year after year. The fix, strategic recovery windows. Not reduce stresses, that's useless advice. We mean scheduled, physiological downregulation. The research is very specific on what works. We'll cover it at the end. Habit, hashtag 3, destroying your memory. Cognitive passivity, the Netflix brain. The third habit is the one most people don't see coming. Mark's evenings look like this. Come home exhausted, eat dinner, scroll through his phone for 30 minutes, watch 2 hours of TV, go to bed. Repeat. Every night. What he was doing, without realizing it, was training his brain to receive information passively. No novelty, no challenge, no new neural pathways being carved, just consumption. The brain, like any muscle, atrophies when underloaded. A 2024 study from the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience found that adults who spent more than 3 hours per day in passive media consumption showed significantly accelerated cognitive decline compared to those who engaged in active cognitive tasks, regardless of age, education, or baseline IQ. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to grow, requires challenge, novelty, and active encoding. Every time you scroll without intention, every time you watch without engaging, you're missing an opportunity to reinforce the memory pathways that prevent decline. Your brain doesn't just passively store things it sees, it stores things it actively processes. That's why you remember movie plots you discussed with friends, but forget news stories you passively read. The fix. Replace 30 minutes of passive consumption per day with active mental engagement. We'll be specific about what that means. Patient story, Mark's recovery. So what happened to Mark? We implemented 3 targeted changes. We got into 7.5 hours of sleep using a protocol we'll describe in a moment. We introduced 2 20-minute physiological recovery windows per day, morning and pre-bed, and we replaced his evening TV hour with a structured cognitive challenge. He started learning Spanish using an app, began doing crossword puzzles, and started calling family members he hadn't talked to in years, active conversation being one of the best forms of cognitive exercise we know of. 90 days later, Mark's cognitive scores improved across the board. Not marginally, significantly. His word retrieval speed was up 22%. His short-term recall on standardized testing had moved from the 34th percentile to the 61st. I introduced my neighbor to my wife last week, he told me, and I remembered her name without even trying. I didn't realize how much I had missed that feeling. Mark doesn't have Alzheimer's. Mark had 3 reversible lifestyle patterns that were stealing his brain, and when we removed those patterns, his brain came back. Yours can too. The 3-step fix, what the research says. Here's your action plan, 3 evidence-based interventions, starting tonight. Step 1. Protect sleep architecture. Target 7.5 to 9 hours. Set a hard sleep window. Eliminate screens 45 minutes before bed. Blue light suppresses melatonin by up to 50% according to Harvard sleep research. Keep your bedroom below 68 F. The brain needs to drop core temperature to enter deep sleep stages. Step 2. Reset your cortisol rhythm. Practice physiological sighing, a double inhale through the nose, followed by a long exhale through the mouth, for 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes before sleep. A 2023 Stanford study found this specific breathing pattern activates the parasympathetic nervous system faster than any other known technique, measurably reducing cortisol within minutes. Step 3. Activate neuroplasticity daily. 30 minutes of daily active cognitive engagement. Options: learning a new language, learning an instrument, strategic games like chess, new social interactions, or aerobic exercise, which the Mayo Clinic identifies as the single most effective non-pharmaceutical intervention for hippocampal volume preservation. Your brain is not broken, it's sending you a signal. The question is whether you respond to that signal now or wait until the window starts to close. Mark responded. His brain responded back. If this video gave you even one thing you can act on tonight, share it with someone who needs it. Drop a comment below. Which of these 3 habits do you think is your biggest problem? I read every single comment and I'll respond. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's a subscribe button right below this video. Hit it, because next week we're covering the specific foods and supplements that clinical research says directly support hippocampal volume. That's a video you don't want to miss.